Hey guys, what is up? What's going on? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is an affordable fall makeup look. Now, I made sure I titled this video affordable and not necessarily drugstore because I will be using the brand new Morphe 35M palette that I featured in my last Ulta haul. It has so many amazing colors in it. I honestly have no idea what look I'm going to create. So I'm really excited to kind of sit down and finagle with the palette. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. The other products I use in the video are indeed drugstore products. I want to say Morphe is the only product I have laid out to film this affordable look. So hopefully you guys are into it. If you guys are excited to see what I come up with, make sure you guys are subscribed by pressing the subscribe button. And also don't forget to click that bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is 3 times a week, every single week. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you tune in. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the makeup look. Woo! All up close and personal. All up close and personal. All right, so I have the Morphe palette right here. Honestly, let me just say, I haven't been this excited for a Morphe palette in a really long time. Like, look at the colorway. Look at the colorway. It is so pretty. If it looks like extra red right here in my nostrils, y'all, I just waxed my mustache, so ignore that. So to start, I'm just priming my eyelids. I'm just using concealer. I'm not going to show it in the video because it's not affordable or it's not drugstore. So I really don't need you guys to come for me. Just use whatever concealer you have or whatever eyeshadow primer you know and love. So now that my lids are nice and primed, now I'm going to pick up the shade called Hello Sunshine, which is a little bit more of like a yellow green shade. And what I'm going to do with this shade is I'm going to put it right here above my crease to act as my transitional shade. And I am using something like a M433 or an E25 by Sigma. And I'm just lightly applying it right above that crease. Just like so. When doing this, I am using a rather light hand because I don't want this to be super intense. I really just want it to be a nice wash of color right above that crease because again, this is essentially my transitional color. I'm also going to bring it down like this to create more of a circular eye shape. Now, normally I will do this step last, but I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the shade called Light of the Party, and I'm gonna pop it right here on the highest point of my brow bone. Then with an E57 by Sigma, I'm just going to lightly pat that brow bone highlight into my transitional color, just so that way everything blends together. I personally feel like the way I'm doing my eye makeup right now is completely different than what I normally do. I am just taking a different approach. I'm gonna switch over to using an M441 and I'm going to continue to build this up right above the crease. And I just kind of like this brush better for overall placing color in my crease and blending as well. I'm also going to bring it down a little bit right here. The next shade I'm going to take is Stroke of Luck and also Express Yourself on an M507. I'm going to tap off and I'm going to place it right here in the very inner part of the eye. I'm just really focusing it right here and I really want this color to be super intense, so I'm making sure I'm packing the color like so by pressing it closest to the very inner socket, but then I'm also going to use whatever's left on the brush to just lightly diffuse it up into the crease so that way it really melts in with that transitional color. Now I am going to do something a little bit different. Normally I'll just put one color in my crease, but today I'm going to use like 2 different colors just so that way they kind of just like whoosh, gradient into each other, and I think that's gonna make for a super pretty fall look. I will definitely say I was most excited for the greens in this palette just for the simple fact that they scream fall. Like this entire palette screams fall to me, like from the greens to the oranges to the golds, like the burgundies, like epitome of fall, and I'm living for it. Normally whenever fall rolls around, I feel like the iconic look to film is a burgundy lip with like a very chocolatey blown out eye or even like a burgundy eye, but I want to kind of change it up. I've never done anything like this. I've never done a color scheme like this. I don't think I've ever really even used a green like this. Let's be real. I'm just taking my brush now and I'm wiping off whatever colors left because I am going to switch colors. I'm going to take the same M507 and I'm going to pick up the shade called Fired Up, which is the bright orange in the palette, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to place it right here into the crease, and I'm starting off with a little bit just because I'm not entirely sure how the orange is going to blend in with the green at this point, and I don't want it to get like too muddy. So I'm going to use a pretty soft hand as I blend this orange into the green. Otherwise, I feel like too much at once can cause things to get really muddy. And I don't want that, not at all. The pigment is real. I'm gonna take a clean E25 or M433 if you use Morphe or Sigma, and I'm just gonna kind of buff out the edge a little bit because it's not looking as blended as I want. Oftentimes whenever I film these videos, I feel like I cut a lot of the blending out as I'm like editing, and I do want you guys to know that I spend a pretty decent amount of time blending out my shadows, so it's not as quick as it looks in video. Really take your time, go back and forth, switch brushes, do what you gotta do to get the perfect blend. At this point, I'm really working on packing on this orange, especially in the crease. I want it to be most intense right here in the crease, and then I want it to lightly gradient upwards. What I'm doing right now is I'm taking an M514 and I'm really just blending these edges right in here. All right, so I'm a little alarmed, but I know it's gonna come together. So I'm gonna pick up the shade called Red Carpet on that same M507, and I'm gonna take this into the crease like so. And this is really just going to deepen up the look a little bit more. It's going to make that orange a lot richer than what it is. Now, keep in mind, I'm putting this in the crease. I'm not taking it above the crease simply because we do have a little bit of that orange peeking through, and I wanna keep it that way. That's what's really going to make this look extremely beautiful and blended. The next shade I'm gonna pick up is called Face of the Day, FOTD, and I'm just going to again take this color, and instead of taking it all the way up right here in the middle, I'm actually going to concentrate it right here closest to the very outer crease. Can I just say, if you guys don't own an M507, I definitely recommend that you guys pick one of these up. It will definitely change the game for you. It changed my blending for the better. It really has, and I'm so happy about that. Picking up a little bit of that shade on an M433, I'm going to work this into the crease. And this brush is a lot fluffier than that of the M507. So what it's gonna do is it's going to just lightly buff and blend out any of that shadow and really just help everything blend together very seamlessly. Now that that's done, I'm gonna go in with some concealer. I'm gonna use the Light Illusion Concealer by Flower Beauty. Let me just say, this concealer is amazing. It definitely has turned into one of my all-time favorite drugstore concealers, and that's a big shocker because I've been stuck on the Makeup Revolution concealer for a hot minute, and I just love how full coverage this concealer is. I am going to use it to cut my crease today. I do need to carve out quite a bit of lid space. I feel like this is so weird for me. I feel like I haven't carved out my crease in a while, so this is a little different. I am using this brush right here. This is an M421, and I'm just lightly carving the crease. One thing I will say is that when you're carving out your crease, you do want to take your time, because I feel like when you try to carve it out in one swoop, things start to get messy. So I'll just open up my eye a little bit just so that way I could see where my eye is naturally going to crease, and I'll cut it right there. And I feel like when I stamp my brush like this, it just works a lot better than just going like, so if you're having trouble cutting your crease, try that out and let me know how it works for you. And I'm also just going to pat down that concealer like so, just because I don't want it to be super wet, and I also want it to be nice and even on the lid. Now that my crease is nice and cut, I'm gonna go in with the shade called Pop Star on a pencil brush, and I'm gonna stick it right here in the very inner part of the lid. Now I am applying these shadows completely dry just because I want to see how they show up. That is Nice. That yellow is popping. I'm just gonna take a smaller brush just so that way I could really pack it on in the very inner part. I'm gonna take my MAC 242 brush and I'm gonna pick the shade called Bright Eyes, which is that vibrant orange. And I'm just gonna stick it right next to that gold yellow just so that way they all kind of just like blend into each other. Now this shadow is a shimmer, but I also see like a little bit of glitter in it, which makes it so reflective and so stunning. Like, do you guys see how pretty it is with that little bit of glitter in there? So I'm going to spray my brush with some Fix Plus and apply a little bit more of this. And the reason I'm just wetting my brush is because I want my edge to be super sharp right here. And just spritzing your brush with a little bit of Fix Plus is going to allow the shadow to lay super smooth and create more of like a sharper edge. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the shade called Confidence, which is a little bit more of a vibrant orange shade, and I'm just gonna pat it lightly over top just to kind of give it something a little bit different. This is like so pretty. So the next shade I'm going to take from the palette is called Color Persona, which is more of a burgundy shade, and I'm just gonna press it right here next to that orange. The last shimmer shade I'm going to pick up is called Bossy AF, which is a little bit more of a deeper shade. And I'm just going to pop it right here where I had a little bit of empty space. Picking up a little bit more of the shade called Face of the Day. I'm just going to take it and buff it inwards to deepen up the look a little bit more towards the outer corner. And this is really just going to help everything blend a lot better. Right now, I'm really packing on this color. So I want it to be smoky, like it's colorful, but I want to be like smoked out too, you know? I'm living. What do you guys think? I know it's extra, but if you have a work party or you want to be a little bit more festive, go for it. Try it out. So far things are looking really good. I'm gonna take a makeup wipe and just wipe away the fallout because there was a little bit from the shimmer shades, but nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from the eyes and I'm gonna start working on the skin. I'm gonna use the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Primer. You guys, this is a spot-on dupe for the Smashbox Smoothing Primer. So if you want more of an affordable version, I definitely recommend that you guys go and check this out. I did a full video on like drugstore dupes for high-end makeup products. So if you guys want to learn more about awesome dupes, then check out that video. I have it listed in the cards. Oh, it feels so good on the skin. It's probably one of my favorite smoothing primers from the drugstore because it is so comparable to the Smashbox primer. Don't ask me what happened here. I woke up this morning and I had a pimple that was like filled with pus, and of course I had to pop it open. Like I had to, because it couldn't just sit there. And now I have like this red mark that probably is going to turn into a scar, and I'm not too happy about it, but you know what, I gotta roll with the punches. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Pixi color correcting concealer. Again, this is very much comparable to the Becca one. I wish I had the Becca one to show you guys, but I don't, considering I gave it to my mom. But this concealer is really, really good underneath the eyes. It's not drying or anything like that. It's very, very creamy, but it's not too creamy, if you get my drift. I also love it because it's a peach tone color correcting concealer, so it's really going to cancel out the blues and purples underneath the eyes. I'm also going to apply a little bit of this around my mouth because sometimes in photos I notice that this area on my face leans a little bit darker than other areas of my face, so I do just want to brighten it up a little bit. So as you guys can clearly see, my skin just isn't doing too hot, so I will be mixing two foundations together, not because like the other one needs it, but I really just love the finish both of these give, and I'm obsessed with this combination. So I am going to be mixing the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation with the L'Oreal True Match foundation, which is in the shade W4, and the NYX one is in the shade True Beige. Love this combo. You guys don't even understand. Sometimes I feel like the NYX one can be too full coverage, if you get my drift. I feel like sometimes it could feel like a mask. So I like to mix in a little bit of the True Match foundation to give it a little bit of luminosity, but like not too much. So I have some of the NYX one on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to mix in a little bit of the L'Oreal. I'm just going to use the back of one of my makeup brushes to mix it together, but I wanted to quickly tell you guys, I went to Target after I filmed my Ulta haul because a lot of you guys were telling me to pick up a Sonia Kashuk sponge, and I went and I picked it up. I just put it underneath water and I wrung it out. It's damp. Y'all, this sponge is huge. If this was the sponge you guys were talking about, like, I'm impressed so far. I haven't used it, but do you see my little cocktail here mixed on the back of my hand? But I'm gonna take the sponge and I'm just gonna dip it into the foundation and pat it. Why didn't anybody I'm so happy I don't even know what I'm saying. Why didn't anyone tell me about this sponge? Like, y'all been holding out on me. Like, I spend all my time filming these videos for you guys and recommending products, and no one told me about this. I thought we were friends. I don't know what I'm more excited about, how full coverage this foundation is and how beautiful it looks on the skin, or the fact that I found a replacement for my Morphe sponge. Kudos to you guys. Thank you for coming through. Thank you so much. Also, I wanted to point out, when I went to Target, Sonia Kashuk didn't have any makeup products on display. Like, did they completely stop making makeup? Are they only making like tools and stuff now? Because I only saw brushes and I only saw like sponges and like tweezers and stuff like that. Pretty much like accessories for makeup. This is news to me. I didn't even know that. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this concealer. This is the Light Illusion concealer that I talked about earlier from Flower Beauty. Y'all, this concealer is extremely full coverage. A little bit goes a very long way. So I'm not even gonna apply any on the center of my face just because you don't need a lot. And whatever's left on my sponge, I'll just pop it down the center of my face to highlight in a subtle way. Before completely setting down the concealer, I'm gonna take an M441 and I'm just gonna kind of buff out the edge right here. I really like to do this step right before I set down the concealer because it's just a lot easier to blend, let's be real. And I can always go back in with my sponge if I blend it a little bit too far. I'm gonna set my concealer down and in place with our brand new translucent powder. This is the Soft Focus translucent powder. And I had to say that slow because for some reason I had a hard time saying it like right before this clip, but I'm gonna use this to set down that concealer. Now this is a translucent powder. The powder you guys would see me use in some of my other videos was just a loose face powder that I use in a very, very light shade to set down my makeup. This was specifically made as a translucent powder, and I am so glad I finally get to use it on camera with you guys because this is something I was so ready for, and I really hope you guys like it. This powder has absolutely no flashback, and it gives off more of like a blurring effect underneath the eyes. Like, honey, I look photoshopped at this point, and I'm not even mad at it. To set down the rest of my face, I will be using this powder by Milani. I love it, and I will also be applying it with my new favorite powder brush. This is by Koki. This is the 618 brush. Like, I'm hooked. I'm obsessed. It is so soft, and it gets the job done. So what I'm doing is I'm just patting the powder, and I'm also going to pat right here where the translucent powder meets like my cheek, just so that way I don't have that line that you guys saw like 2.5 seconds ago. Always make sure to blend that line. Otherwise, things will look crazy. I don't want you guys to look crazy. Now, I can definitely say that I've tried a lot of drugstore powders, and this one right here by Milani would definitely have to be one of my personal favorites. It's full coverage, so it's kind of adding like an additional layer of coverage, but it doesn't make you look cakey whatsoever, and it keeps me matte all day. So before I do anything else to the rest of my face, I definitely need to finish off my lower lash line. So I'm gonna mix those two green shades that we use right here in the very inner corner on a flat definer brush, and I'm just going to press this shade right here on the lower lash line to just connect everything together. Then with a pencil brush, I'm just going to buff and blow out this green shade right here. With a flat definer brush, I'm picking up the shade called Face of the Day, which is that deep shade sitting right here on the very outer corner. And I'm just gonna kind of press it right along the lash line, and I'm pushing it closest to the lash line just because I still want this green color to kind of gradiate underneath of that shade. And as you can see, like, the lower lash line definitely needs more of like a deeper color. Otherwise, it just looks very, very strange. Then with that pencil brush, I'm just going to blur out the edges just so that way that shade kind of just blends in with the green a little bit more. And let me just say, I love this so much. Like, that is really pretty. So far, I'm really loving the look. I'm gonna go ahead and do some mascara, pop on falsies, and then we'll be right back to finish off the rest of the face.
One eternity later.
My lashes are on. I'm just gonna kind of fluff them upwards as they dry, just so that way they sit upright and they don't go downwards, because that's not a good look. I'm now just gonna go ahead and brush away any of this translucent powder that I still have sitting right here on the edge. And I do feel like I need some kind of liner. I want to do more of like a burgundy liner to kind of go with the color that we have sitting right here. I don't have a burgundy eyeliner from the drugstore, but I do have 2 lip liners that might work. So I'm going to start off with the Maybelline Color Sensational lip liner in the shade Rich Wine. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to use it as liner, because there's no rules in makeup, and whoever told you that lied. So I'm going to stick this right in here. I'm just going to go over that with this red lip liner. This one is by NYX. Na 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 na. For bronzer, I'm going to use the Sun Obsession Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Major, and I'm going to pop this around the perimeter of my face to give me a little bit more color. And I am using a light hand with this, just because I do want to gradually build up the color. I just feel like it goes on a lot smoother when you go in with a light hand at first, and then just try to intensify it to your liking. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup with my loose translucent powder, and I'm just going to take that Sonia Kashuk sponge and drag it right underneath the bronzer. I pretty much just have a beard right now, but we're gonna let that sit there. We're gonna let that bake. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go in with some blush and highlight. This is the brand new Modern Metals blush and highlight palette. And I felt like it just went with the look so incredibly well. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play with this today. And I want to say they collaborated with a few different influencers to create this. And I'm all about that. You guys know I'm all about supporting influencer collaborations and things like that. So I think that is really, really dope. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm probably just going to take my brush and just sweep it right along. Bruh. I did not think they were going to be this pigmented. Wow. Let's get rid of some of that. Can I get a redo? I'm going to take this blush and I'm just going to sweep it onto my cheeks. And honestly, I feel like sometimes I love blush. Sometimes I don't love blush. Right now, I'm all about blush, so just gonna smile and pop it on the apples of the cheeks. Let me just say, this blush is going on so well. Like, it is very much pigmented and they're extremely soft to touch. Like, they're buttery, they're creamy. I cannot believe this. Like, I really can't. Right off the bat, I will say that there are some really beautiful highlights in this palette. I think I'm gonna mix this one and this one together. And I'm gonna use my ABH number A23 brush, and I'm just gonna highlight with this. Okay, so I'm actually really sad about this. I thought the highlighters were just gonna be more poppin', so I'm gonna use something else. I'm definitely gonna stick to using an e.l.f. product. I'm gonna use the Coffee and Cream highlighter that they created in collaboration with That's Heart, and I'm gonna use this side, the lightest side, and I'm gonna pop it right here. That is better. And I'm also gonna mix in a little bit from the dark side. And whatever's left on my brush, I'm just gonna pop it right here on the apples of the cheeks. I'm gonna take my fluffy brush and just brush away the bake underneath my bronzer. Before I go in with my lip color, I'm gonna apply a little bit of the Collab Grand Finale 3-in-1 Hydrating Makeup Setting Mist. And I'm gonna give it a good shake, and I am using the hydrating one. We also have a mattifying one, but I'm gonna use the hydrating one because I did apply a mattifying foundation and I really just like packed my powder on, and in order for my powder to kind of melt down and become more skin-like, I need to go in with a hydrating setting mist. So, and just so you guys know, the mist on this is super fine. Now, since my eyes are so dramatic, I do want to keep my lip color very nude, so I will be using this one by ColourPop in the shade What's Your Sign, and this is from the Kathleen Lights collaboration, the Zodiac collection. And to top off my lipstick, I will be using the Modern Metals lip gloss in the shade 84540. This gloss is everything. And just like that, you guys, this is the final and completed look. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me just get this off my chest. Like, I am living and breathing for this look. When I went into Ulta and I saw this in person, I was like, yeah, yes. But after blending it all over my eyes, I am screaming. Like, that's how great this palette is. I had no issues with it formula wise. Like, check it out if you guys haven't already. This is fall in a palette. It really is. I also really like the gloss by e.l.f., the Modern Metals gloss. Like, I feel like these glosses in general just make your lips look extremely shiny and wet, like dripping. Like, yes, thank you. Thank you, e.l.f., for this because I love it. And with that, you guys, I will have all the products listed down below if you guys are interested in checking out any of the products I mentioned in today's video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel by pressing the subscribe button. Click that bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload, because I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you don't want to miss it, okay? I'm gonna go. I have some other videos to film, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces. You made it to the outro of the outro. What do you guys think? Like, I feel like I look like a big old Skittle. Like, show up on Thanksgiving Day and be like, no, wrong bird. I don't know. I love you. Press that subscribe button if you guys haven't already. Also, don't forget to check out some of my other videos right over here. You will not regret it. You won't. Bye. Press on nails for the win. Honey. $5.